Hey guys, I'm here today to tell you about the debut album from Wrath of Logarius, Crown of Mortis, out April 4th on Season of Mist. The album has 9 tracks, 37 minutes in length, and they are an American black metal band. Now for a debut album, the record is very concise, very compact, very fluid, a really nice design all around to get the most out of the individual songs without ever forgetting what the collective is all about. You don't always see that on a debut record. Most debut albums actually feel quite broken because the songs were created through a long period of time and there's a disconnect creatively from song to song. This record doesn't offer that. The record really feels compact, fluid, and it's well designed in order to get the most out of it. Once you get into the sound, obviously this is a black metal record, but it's not just a black metal album. And it's not easy to define it just under that genre because you're going to have atmospheric elements, death metal elements, some thrash elements. There's a little bit of everything pushing this record in different directions or giving the sound a much richer texture than if it was just simply a black metal album. I appreciate these differences and I appreciate what these influences give the record because it allowed the album to have a much larger footprint and it allows the band to be a lot more creative with what they do. My only issue with all the sound that this album puts forward is that the melodies that are used mostly to create a sense of atmosphere, to create a sense of darkness, very well intertwine with the overall sound, more often than not sitting a little bit behind the drums. They become quite repetitive, so it's very easy to see 2-3 songs in what's coming next, what's the next song going to be like, at least from that more atmospheric melodic standpoint. And that hurts the album because it takes a little bit of the surprise away from what the songs could be offering. So allowing that sound, that experience to stay very uniform doesn't help the album as far as making it more engaging, as far as making the songs more dynamic. It actually flattens it out a little bit, and like I said, it creates a sense of being able to predict what's coming around the corner. But the production of the album all around is really well put together. I love the fact that the drums are in the forefront a lot more than the guitars are. You also don't normally see that in a black metal record. This album really pushes the drums forward, giving them a lot of force, a lot of power, a lot of heaviness, and allowing them to be the ones that really drive the songs forward. Then behind that, like I said, you have that more melodic sound that adds a great atmosphere to the tracks. And then you have the guitars as well that become very driven, very melodic, sometimes a little bit heavier and thicker, matching the essence and the strength that the drums are giving to the sound. So it's an album that has a lot of moving pieces, but from a production standpoint, you're able to see exactly where all of them are and what all of them are doing, giving great quality to the record all around. When it gets to the vocals, this is where you're going to see a little bit more of a dynamic movement, especially for a band that is tagged as a black metal band. I was expecting the vocals to be very uniform. What you get at the beginning is going to be what you get at the end. It's not the case. The range in the vocals really offers 2 different styles and 2 different approaches. You get the more screaming, thin, driven vocals, very prototypical of a black metal record, and then you get the much deeper gutturals that are more predominant in death metal albums. So you're going to get these 2 styles, these 2 approaches, which allows the songs at times to feel more dynamic, and it counterbalances really well that more sense of linearity that you get out of the melody and the atmosphere that comes from it. So having the vocals change and then adapting the sound to that change definitely gives a little bit more life to this album. You still have to understand that this is a debut record, so for a debut album, the production, the sound, the execution, it feels very mature. It doesn't feel like a debut album. It doesn't fall prey to the normal mistakes that you see on a debut record. So it's a much better album when you consider that it's a debut album, but obviously there's still a lot of room for improvement. As far as favorite songs are concerned, I want to start off with Erosion. The drums are powerful. I'm going to say this about every single song. The drums are powerful, great melody, great dark melody that this track has, really blending it well with that overall drum sound, creating a very well-defined atmospheric experience for the song. The vocals come in and they enhance the darker side of the track specifically with that more driven, penetrating sound that they have. And this allows for the beauty within the sound to really come to the surface, and then the vocals really jump out as well. And I really like the delivery and the movement that the song has, moving from that more black metal driven melodic sound to the more robust, heavier death metal approach. The sound moves and the vocals move with it, or the vocals move and the sound moves with it. The two are intertwined. It's kind of hard to see one without seeing the other. And the ability to have this morphing between these two sounds is really what gives this song great life. And it's a great drumming sounding track all around. Then you have Long Dead the King, another track really dominated by the drum sound. That's something that is also true almost on every single song on this record. And then you have that melodic atmospheric sound coming in underneath it, really helping to fill in the blanks and helping the drums become a little bit more emphasized in the size and the sound and the heaviness and the thickness that they offer. Placing the guitars a little bit deeper within the soundscape also allows the track to have a little bit more width. So it's a heavy but beautiful song, very haunting, and the vocals come in on this track almost like a puppet master pulling the strings. So it has a much different approach. So sound-wise, Erosion and Long Dead the King, they're not that far apart, but vocally and in terms of the impact that the vocals have in the song, that's where you start to see the differences. Last but definitely not least, Dread. It has a super long intro, very atmospheric, dark, long intro, and then the drums and guitars come in together, giving the song heaviness, thickness, and size. There's still an atmospheric sense to this song, but it's a track that really enhances the heaviness of the band, the heaviness of the sound, and how powerful it is when you have those drums and guitars working together. At times, because of the atmospheric backdrop, the song becomes almost cinematic. It has a little bit of that vibe to it, and the intro also helps define that cinematic role. And it's really interesting because when you think of how heavy the song is at times, still to be able to create that more epic cinematic experience out of the track is something to applaud. This is it, Wrath of Logarius, Crown of Mortis, out April 4th on Season of Mist. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on the singles. Hit me up in the comment section. I'll see you all at the next video. Take care, guys.